We are going to be talking about one of the most favorite things that I enjoy talking about here on this channel, and that is fashion trends. The 2026 fashion trends, to be exact. Buckle up, Buttercup, because it's going to be a long one. It's not that I chase trends, I do not, but I do enjoy staying on top of what is coming down the pipeline for fashion. It is important that we stay on top of these things. It's those trends that will help to keep our wardrobes looking modern, more relevant. I just think it's fun to talk about. So I'm going to be talking about everything. And I am going to be mixing in a little bit of home trends as well into today's conversation, because fashion trends and home interior trends tend to walk together in a lot of instances. So some of what we're seeing in fashion, we also have been seeing in interiors, and your home environment is just as important as what you're wearing, I think. And so, yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's dive in, because we've got a lot to talk about. Color is one of the easiest ways that you can stay on top of the trends and keep your wardrobe looking current. One color that has been repeated again and again and again as being the color for 2026 is the color blue. We're seeing blue everywhere. Blue is having its moment. In the last couple of years, it has been red and anything red toned, like cherry red, cherry cola, burgundy, maroon, all of those have been the hot color. But this year it's going to be blue. I don't own a lot of blue in my wardrobe, if I have to be honest, because I'm a burgundy girl. I love burgundy. Burgundy is like my signature color practically. But I don't mind blue. I think blue is quite beautiful. The one color that keeps coming up in conversation is capri blue. Capri blue is a really, really beautiful, vibrant blue. It's kind of like the blue of the ocean when you're at sea on a cruise. It's just a really beautiful, deep, vibrant blue. It is going to be everywhere. But that is not the only shade of blue that we're going to be seeing. We're going to be seeing dusty blue, cornflower blue, light blue. All of the blues are going to be having their moment this year, according to the fashion trend reports, which I tend to agree. I'm starting to see it everywhere. And I'm not mad at it, though. I do enjoy blue. I think blue is a very, very beautiful color to have in your wardrobe. And I'm talking about for the entire year, not just spring and summer. How I anticipate that we'll start seeing blue in the months where it starts to get cooler. I feel that we're going to see a shift, and it's going to go more in the realm of teal. It could be either teal, which leans more green, or it could be something like peacock blue, which leans a little bit more blue, but they're still in that blue-green family. And I think that blue-green color is actually my favorite, being peacock blue. My dining room is painted in peacock blue. I love that color so much. The reason that it's going to be able to make the transition into fall is because that deep teal peacock blue looks very, very beautiful with the autumnal color palette. It looks gorgeous with yellow, with orange, with brown, with black, with gray if you're more cool toned. It just does really, really well with those autumnal colors. And so I think that we're going to see a morphing of the capri blue into a dark blue or into a teal or peacock blue. So that's my prediction. That's what I'm thinking, because we are seeing teal popping up here and there. And so those green blues or blue greens are coming up. I anticipate that we're going to be seeing all of those different shades of blue and blue green coming up throughout the year. Then we're going to the Pantone color of the year, which I'm like, really? Yeah, at first I was all like, okay, Pantone, you picked a non-color color, but white, it is a neutral. So it's called Cloud Dancer. And for all intents and purposes, it's like an off-white. For me personally, I'm okay with it because I do like off-white. I like it better than bright white, because off-white to me feels it's a little bit more wearable and it's a little bit more tolerable in the home. For me, it opens up the door to doing tonal looks, because I love off-white and I love mixing off-white with pale grays and pale blues and things like that. I also like mixing it with other tones of white white. An off-white monochromatic look looks very, very expensive. It is definitely something that you can play with on the fashion scene. As far as home decor is concerned, I'm not necessarily a fan of white walls. Still, in interiors, it will also make itself known. We're seeing pale pink re-emerging. It's not the blush pink that we had a few years back. This is actual like a true pink, but it's very, very pale. And you're seeing it all over the place. You're gonna see it during the spring, I think especially. It will be making its presence known. I don't mind pale pink. I actually quite like it. I've got a few pieces in my wardrobe in that color. I think it's very wearable. I think that it is really beautiful. If you are a low contrast complexion, then this is your season, because the pastels like blue, the light blue, dusty blue, all of those, as well as like pale pink and Cloud Dancer, are all, you know, really, really good and really beautiful colors for those of you out there that are of a low contrast. And by low contrast, I mean light colored hair, light eyes, light skin. Those are going to look really, really beautiful on you, because those are right up your alley. One of the things that we have started to see already and are going to continue to see a lot of are scarves and bandanas. You're going to start seeing bandana patterns, you know, that kind of like paisley print that bandanas have. You're going to start seeing that on other types of scarves, like silk scarves or satin scarves. You can still wear the cotton bandana. I think that will still also have its moment. Overall, scarves are really making a comeback, and I am not mad at that. I like wearing scarves. I think scarves are beautiful, just as a little necktie or around your bag. You've seen me. I have been talking about the Amazon scarves, the silk scarves that are little neck scarves. I've been talking about those a lot, and you guys have been buying them up. They're really beautiful. It's a wonderful way to pop your outfit. I do really enjoy wearing them under a blazer or with a vest, and very a la Ralph Lauren. I did a video talking about Ralph Lauren style and how to achieve that style. I'll have that video linked in the description box as well as in the cards. I'm not sure where it's gonna pop, but in the cards, you can see how I styled a scarf with the outfits, because Ralph Lauren aesthetic is all about layering, and scarves are one of the layers that are critical to the overall look. The next thing that is trending very, very heavily are brooches, which I'm happy about. I love my brooches. I have like 4. I don't have that many, but I do love my brooches. I think brooches are a really, really beautiful way of bringing an accent to your outfit. I mean, I remember back in the day when I was young, my mom wore a brooch all the time. She wore them with scarves, she wore them on her dresses, she wore them on her coats. I used to wear a brooch all the time on my coats when I was younger, because I just loved how elegant that looked. I just thought that it was so, so beautiful, and it's just a really pretty pop of something to make a plain coat look interesting. And so I'm super excited about that. And you can find brooches anywhere. You can find them on Etsy. You can find them now. You can find them at on regular retail. Amazon is another great resource. But if you want to get the best brooches, the ones that are vintage, then I would say antiquing or thrifting. That's your best bet. That's where you're going to get some really beautiful vintage brooches that you can add. And it's not just wearing one brooch, it's wearing a bunch on your lapel or on your vest or whatever, wherever you're putting them. Brooch stacking, I don't know if that's what it's called, but it's essentially brooch clusters, right? And so you're wearing just a bunch of brooches. There are a lot of different ways to execute this particular look. For me personally, I like just the one brooch, because back in the 80s, I used to wear like 3 or 4 at once, and I'm not sure that I want to revisit that. You can use brooches in a lot of interesting ways. You can use them to help create a ruching effect on your dress. You can use them to enhance or emphasize a ruching detail on your clothing. If you've got like a top or a dress or something that has got some ruching, you can use it on the neckline in order to help draw some attention here. I mean, there's just so many different ways that you can style a brooch, and I think that, it's very exciting to see that brooches are making a comeback. Watches are another accessory that we're starting to see emerge. I'm going to just make this statement right now. Overarching the trends for 2026 is a definite, I don't want to say it's a theme, because that's not what it is. It is kind of like a vibe, I guess, is how I will put it. We are leaning into a lot more vintage and a lot more heritage styling. I have my thoughts on as to why that's happening, and it tends to happen every time we have some kind of a technological jump. I remember that we were very heavily into natural colors like earth tones and bringing the outside in and having a lot of stone and having a lot of wood in our homes specifically. This is what I specifically remember back in the 90s when the internet was introduced. We had never had the internet before, and so we had this huge jump in technology and we were embracing everything that was natural. Well, today we have AI. You know, AI is everywhere, and it feels a little bit overwhelming. You know, it feels a little bit scary. As a result of this jump in technology, we are leaning into everything that is old. We want all of the vintage things. We want the heritage around us because we have almost like this nostalgia and this wanting to reconnect to what's older and what's more natural because of this technology jump. At least that's my thought around it. And so a lot of what we're seeing is very vintage and heritage inspired. We're looking back and we want what was old to be around us. And that's not just in our fashion, that is also in our homes. We're seeing a lot of people are now antiquing and thrifting and things like that because they want old things. They don't want new. They don't want manufactured. And as a result, that's why we're leaning back into scarves and brooches and things like that, because those were things that were worn in the past a lot. We haven't really worn these types of things in a while. At least they haven't been up in front of the trends in a good long while. And that's why we're seeing them coming forward. So watches are another thing that we are seeing a lot of, those timepieces. And especially vintage watches, you know, the ones that were really thin and dainty. I remember my grandmother had 5 or 6 really beautiful watches that were really skinny, and they were bracelet watches. They weren't even leather bound watches. You know, they didn't have a leather band. People are starting to wear timepieces more instead of relying on their phones. So pull those out if you've put them away, or get yourself one because it's a beautiful piece of jewelry to have. Sculptural silver is another thing that we are seeing a lot of. It is very prevalent now to see pieces that look like they could be a piece of art in silver. So it could be just a glob is what I call it, or it could be anything, honestly. You're also seeing a lot of silver in interiors as well, by the way. If you watched any of my vlogs over the holidays, I kept going to the thrift store on the hunt for silver, and I'm still looking for more. And I feel that again, this is one of those situations where interiors and fashion are going hand in hand. Silver is emerging as one of the desired metals for the home. It was brass for the longest time, and now we're veering into silver. Brass is always going to be in style where home is concerned, so don't throw away your brass. Don't give it away. I use both. I don't care. I love both of them, and so I use both of them. It's just how I choose to mix and match them. So, you know, it's like with fashion. You wear what you love. In your home, you put out what you love, and it works because you love it. So anyway, then we have got statement jewelry. Statement jewelry is making a comeback. I remember back in the turn of the millennium where we were wearing statement jewelry. I had a lot because I worked in a corporate office, and jewelry was one of the ways that I used to love to express myself in the corporate realm. And so I had I have not gotten rid of a lot of it. I still have it. A lot of statement jewelry. I'm happy that statement jewelry is making a comeback because it's really beautiful and it does make an outfit. You know, it really can make an outfit. So you can have a solid black dress or navy or whatever and put on a piece of statement jewelry and it makes the outfit. I love that. So big earrings, big necklaces, not all at once. I don't know that I would do it all at once. I prefer, if I'm doing a big necklace, I will do a small earring. If I'm doing a bigger earring, then I will either not do a necklace or do a really dainty necklace. So there's a way to mix and match, you know, still wear your dainty pieces, just keep the bold statement jewelry to just one piece, because otherwise it becomes a little bit too overwhelming, I think. As I mentioned, vintage. Vintage in any of the above that I talked about is definitely on trend at the moment. So if you go vintage shopping a lot, or if you thrift a lot, or if you like to go antiquing a lot, you'll be able to source some of them in those areas. We're seeing a lot of dark wash denim making its way out. And I think it's always been around, but I think it's moving to the front because it looks a lot dressier and it just looks, I don't know, I just feel that it's a lot more formal. Even if it's got things like unfinished hems, or if they're barrel leg, whatever the silhouette is, we are seeing dark wash denim really coming forward. And I like that though, because when it comes to denim, my preference mostly is dark wash. I do like a medium wash denim as well. I do not really care for washed out denim. I've never really been a fan of that. To me, it just feels too casual. It feels a little bit too boho for my own personal style, but I can see how someone would really like a really washed out denim, like a light blue denim. It looks a lot dressier, and that's more my vibe. And so that's why I'm really loving this particular trend, and I'm gonna lean into it for sure. Also, denim in a more relaxed fit. I'm thinking wide leg here, or even barrel leg, something that's just a little bit looser, not tight, not super, you know, like clinging to the leg or anything like that. It's gonna be wide leg, it's gonna be relaxed, it's gonna be comfy. That is also going to be emerging. We have lace. Lace is replacing sheer. I love lace. I think lace is really beautiful, and it is, again, one of those things that you will start seeing with interiors as well. I think we're going to start seeing a lot more, like, you know, tablecloths that have got like lace edging and things like that. But the lingerie look, going back to fashion, the lingerie look is definitely having its moment. And so you're going to be seeing a lot of lace probably presenting in that way, with like the camis that have got the asymmetrical hemline that's lined with lace. You'll be seeing a lot of dresses that have got a lace overlay, which I think that's beautiful. It's going to be making its presence known. And so if you've got any lace, then I would definitely start bringing that out. Otherwise, you can find it. And I will be sure, by the way, to have everything that I'm talking about, as much as possible at any rate, linked for you in the description bar, and or it's going to pop up here on the screen, and it will be pinned to a comment as well. And another trend, and this one is directly from Pinterest, which I find it's intriguing. It's intriguing. It's called Wilderkind or Wilderkind. We're looking at things that are animal, but not your typical leopard or zebra or those types of animals. We're looking more at forest creatures. This is going to be more of a botanical vibe. And again, I think that we're seeing that in home interiors as well. I know I personally am on the hunt for botanical prints because I love doing this dark, moody, dark academia kind of thing in my home. That's kind of where I'm taking us in our home decor. And so when I go out thrifting or antiquing, I'm always looking at things that lean botanical. That's something that you're going to be seeing a lot of in interiors, but as well as in fashion. I don't know if it's going to be quite as big a trend in fashion yet. I imagine that it will be coming, because as we go into this new technology of AI, we're going to be looking at things that tie us back to nature. And so I foresee that this particular trend, I think, will probably really start to hit its stride in 2027 or late 2026, like the back half of 2026. So if you're looking at animal print, you're thinking about fawn, like deer, which to me, that's just a little bit, I don't know. I don't know about that for me. I'm a leopard print kind of gal myself. But also things like bugs. You're going to be seeing like brooches that are bugs, like beetles and butterflies and bees and things like that, you know. You're going to be seeing like, I don't know if you remember back in the turn of the millennium, dragonfly necklaces were a big deal, and butterfly necklaces and things like that. And so we're going to be seeing a lot of that emerging, I think, with this Wilderkind or Wilderkind kind of trend. But I'm gonna wait and see on that one. So, but I thought that I would bring it up because it's one that Pinterest has called out as a trend, and I just found that very intriguing. Another trend that is going to continue. It started last year and it has really gained momentum and it's going to keep going is suede. We're going to see a lot of suede. We're going to see suede, especially in light tones, I think, this year. But anything suede is still going to be raging hot like it was last year. And it's going to stay throughout the year. It's not just going to be a fall winter thing. It's going to continue on in spring and summer as well. So anticipate that suede is still going to be going strong. Suede shoes, suede bags, suede clothing, you know, you're just going to see a lot of that coming and continuing, I should say. The next trend that we're going to see is polka dots. Not your typical small to medium sized polka dot. I think that we're going to see polka dots in very large scale. Big polka dots, like big coin-sized polka dots. I like polka dots. I do. I love my polka dots, but I don't know that I'm crazy about really big polka dots. But if you do like a polka dot and you do like to experiment with that pattern, then a big polka dot is something that is going to be right up your alley. And it is a beautiful pattern. It's graphic. It's lovely. It is just, it's like the stripes round cousin. But again, I'm going to be going for the smaller polka dots. I don't know that I can do the large scale polka dots because, well, as a petite, the bigger the pattern, the more overwhelming it becomes on you, and it could, you know, create like this weird visual imbalance. So, but it is something to look out for. Telling you, this video is long. It's like the second time I've had to change my battery. And then I wanted to touch briefly on hair. There's one big thing that I am absolutely here for, and that is the side part has returned. Now, a few years back, Gen Z, I don't know who made them the authority, but Gen Z declared that side parts were over and middle parts were in. And I wore my hair in the middle part, you know, I let myself succumb to that trend. And I'm okay with wearing my hair parted to the middle, but I think I look better with my hair parted to the side. So side parts are back, hallelujah. And I know that a lot of us didn't stop wearing side parts, you know, but yeah, the side part is back. I'm super happy about that. The other trend that we're seeing in hair is 90s volume. That actually had a short moment about a year ago, and it's coming back. So you were talking about that big kind of hot rollered kind of hair, lots of volume, lots of curl, you know, lots of just 90s look. So that is a hair trend that we are seeing coming back. And then the messy bun is making a comeback, which I never could master the messy bun. I don't think I have enough hair for a messy bun. And so I could never quite do it, but if you can do a messy bun, they're back. They're going to be back this year. Those are all the trends that I have for you guys. Like I said, it was a lot this season with all of the different trends that are coming out and the fact that we're looking back. I have a lot of what is on trend already because I don't throw everything away. I hang on to some things because I know that they're going to probably come back around, and we're there. I would implore you to shop your closet for these trends because it is highly likely that you've got this already in your closet. I am a terrible procrastinator when it comes to decluttering and getting rid of things, and so it's working in my favor because I've got a bunch of this stuff already, and I'm excited to go in and start shopping what I've already got because I won't have to go out and buy new because I kept some of these things. So I would implore you to do the same. I'm going to leave you with another video here that YouTube thinks that you will enjoy. Thank you so very much for spending a lot of time with me today. I hope to see you in that video. Bye.